In the future, people have predicted Australia population explosion to go up to more than 40 million people by early 2060s. This shows that Australia will be an ideal place and they're growing rapidly. Okay, let's take a look at these. The Australian demographic is predicted to that old people from 65 to 84 years is expected to double. Very old people from 85 and over is expected to more than quadruple, from 0.4 million to 1.8 million by 2050. This will be also counted as a demographic momentum. This is a good thing because the health department is improving throughout the years moving into the future. This shows that the population pyramid of Australia will eventually take the shape of a coffin by 2050, which is a good thing because the population pyramid, like a triangle, will show that the country is bad and the healthcare is it's not there yet. About 32 years from now, Australia carrying capacity will be from 30.9 to 42.5 million by 2056, and between 33.7 to 62.2 by 2101. This is a good growth because Australia is able to increase their capacity a lot and improve and expand their sustainability into the future. We can also learn about the crew birth rate, which is predicted to decline down to 1.65 by 2024 and 25, continue to go down to 1.62 by 2030 and 31. Moving on to the Industrial Revolution. Australia Industrial Revolution in the future will phase out fossil fuel extinction, decarbonization of many existing industries such as steel and cement, and the rapid scaling of new industry like critical minerals and renewable hydrogens, etc. Moving on to urbanization, which is an important role because this provides a variety of things like jobs, housing, health. Urbanization like Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, and Perth are forecast to double in population by mid-century. In Australia, medical health play an important role when it comes to urbanization because they need a good healthcare to sustain these growing in urbanization. The problem we have with medical revolution in Australia is that there will be a rising health cost in the future, which is an obstacle for Australia in the future because of inflation. But on the bright side, Australia is working to reduce health emissions throughout the year till 2030, reduce duplication of tests and better care for people with chronic and complex medical conditions. Australia has also been working on digital healthcare because they would introduce the benefit. To me, I feel like this is a good thing because Australia is working hard on their health community and helping people. Australia have also been working on their sustainability for the future by working on low carbon economy and low carbon capture and storage, and new energy sources like hydrogen, which are good because working on reducing gas emission can remove harmful gases that can affect the environment and preserve a healthy economy. With a country going like this, there are also some intervening obstacles like immigrants who are moving for job opportunities, affordable housing, etc. Even though these sounds bad, Australia is still filled with a lot of benefit for people who live there. In addition, the total fertility rate for Australia falls from 1.66 babies per woman down to 1.22 babies per woman by 2036 and 37. This fertility rate is good because it put the mother and the baby at less risk of fatality for the mother and the baby. The causes of population decline in Australia in the future are limited overseas migration, natural increase, and the pandemic that has been going on for around, which is also on track for net migration projected around 235,000 a year. 4 types of push factor for Australia are lack of health facility, lack of transportation, people want to experience the urban life, and famine. The push factor are jobs advantage, educational chances, great climate, and good economy. This also has an amnesty in Australia where people will be treated with equality, justice, dignity, and respect. Place utility in Australia is to renewable energy in the national electricity market will increase to 82% by 2030. This is ideal because using renewable sources, we are able to save a lot of energy, and with renewable sources, we can use the energy to last for longer time periods. Epidemics in Australia will affect it because the COVID-19 that was roaming, it would cause population decline out to 2040s. Australia dependency rates will be 38.8 per 100 working age people. I say this is a dependency is bad because the lower and the better healthcare is going on for Australia. This shows that the rising health costs of Australia and the healthcare is more difficult. People may work more to be able to afford it. In conclusion, I feel like Australia is a good and ideal country to survive off for the next few years or decades. The country is rapidly growing and developing into a really good healthcare department. They would also have enough resources to last throughout the next decade, since this place used to be a gold rush in the past.
The transhumance was used in Australia with herds to seasonal pastures. From 1800s to the 19th, there started to be causes to the population increasing by reaching a high point in the 1900s because of the gold rush in the 1800s, which led to the population going almost to 4 million by 1901. This made Australia reach its peak of natality rate, which was 3.5 kids per woman. Another main driver of the population growth was the net overseas migration of net inflow. In the 1800s, they didn't really have that program of census to tell how many people were actually there, but it is estimated that the sex ratio was 99.2 males per 100 women. And around the 1800s, demography was mainly indigenous people. In 1972, they had developed a sustainability movement looking for a better vision of social economy and physical issues. In Britain, they had forced migrated prisons to Australia prisons because there wasn't a lot of space for them, and these immigrants did not have the land and the stuff that they promised if they went. The British government encouraged volunteer immigration in the 1900s, believing that it would help Australia get better and stronger economic stability. In the 1900s, there was a women's suffrage, and by 1902, their wish of women and men voting was granted. Remittance is actually very common and 92% of immigrants would send money to their parents.
Australia is a vast and diverse continent and a fascinating country with a unique landscape. In fertile regions of southern Australia, you'll find a high agriculture density. These areas are home to prosperous farms benefiting from fertile soil and favorable climate conditions. Australia uses about 55% of their land for agriculture, growing things like wheat, barley, canola, cotton, and sugarcane. Right now, the crude death rate is 6.7, which is lower than major countries such as the US with a 9.1 and the UK with a 9.4. They also have a life expectancy of about 84 years and has been increasing by 0.18 each year. Even when in a global pandemic during COVID, they had 11.35 million cases and 0.33 recoveries. Australia has relatively balanced sex ratio with slightly more females than males in the population. This balance was influenced by factors such as stable birth rates, immigration patterns, and age distribution. The population projection continues growing by immigration and natural increases, but at a gradually slow rate. Government policies and planning strategies were in place to manage population growth and address related issues. Along with a growing population, Australia has a great epidemiology run by the Therapeutic Good Administration, which ensures that medicines produced and sold in a country meet strict safety, efficiency, and quality standards. Additionally, Australia exports significant amount of